What happened to a quaint English village with a population of just 700 people when migrants housed at the local RAF base began to outnumber the locals? And did it prove that diversity is indeed our greatest strength? Spoiler alert. No. Residents of Wethersfield in Essex, the demographics of which are 95% white British, were not too pleased when they were told hundreds of asylum seekers were set to be accommodated nearby. Stop the asylum seeker! But I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Turns out, quite a lot. Migrants trying to gain entry to their houses. Attacking moving cars, defecating in the streets just yards from their homes, weird banshee-like wailing sounds, the constant whine of police cars and ambulances going back and forth all day and night, and residents saying they no longer feel safe.
Villagers in Wethersfield near Braintree, Essex, say they do not feel safe walking the streets and the country lanes at night due to the threat of antisocial behaviour.
Blake Templey, who lives with his 2 teenage daughters, said groups of 20 or more migrants regularly roam the country roads around the village, leaving its many elderly residents scared. No one feels safe, said one 27-year-old woman. I walk back from the pubs at night and I don't really want to anymore. I've got to walk 100 yards. I shouldn't feel like that. Now I wouldn't take my dog out on my own on the lanes nearby, said another female resident, because you're likely to meet groups of bored single young men hanging around. And as has become commonplace, migrants loitering around schools. There was an incident recently where some of the young men from the centre were sitting watching the children's playground, which made the mums feel nervous. And when they left, some of the asylum seekers appeared to follow them, which made people feel even more uncomfortable. Young girls in the nearby town of Braintree being sexually harassed, and piles of trash everywhere.
So I've been collecting waste for the last 2 years, and all of a sudden it has increased significantly.
When you drive past them, you can see the way they look at you, said another local. I'm sorry, but I don't know why we have to be lumbered with the problem of living cheek by jowl with them. Fresh off the boat and taken straight to the RAF base, the migrants were given lessons on good behaviour.
But in what appears to be an acknowledgement of the upset and concerns felt by some locals when asylum seekers first arrive, they'll also be given instructions on how to be good neighbours.
Everybody who arrives here goes through an orientation process to understand what acceptable behaviour is. We know that they've been through quite a lengthy journey and they're in a new environment, and it's important that they understand how to fit in and be part of the community.
That went well, didn't it? Imagine generations of your family living happily in a picture postcard English village. Then virtually overnight it gets completely deracinated and destroyed. And for what? To help refugees? They're not refugees! They're just feckless young men from countries that aren't even at war who want free shit. These poor locals can't even move away because no one wants to buy their houses. We're effectively trapped here and no one is listening to us. We didn't get one viewing. It's devastating when it's part of your retirement plan. Locals were told it was going to be a secure detention facility, but the migrants just ended up roaming around the village engaging in wanton antisocial behaviour, in between complaining about bad Wi-Fi speeds and the food being too spicy. An internet connection so poor, one of them threatened to jump off the roof. Within the base itself, 430 incidents of violence or aggression reported in 2024 alone. And to top it all off, when locals complained about all this, they were gaslit by the authorities and told none of it was happening.
So for me, it's about reaching out to say, I have no evidence. No evidence has been given to me for the last 3 years.
What about the stabbing at Mark's Day?
There's no evidence that's been given to me around women or children being vulnerable. No, because I'm not talking to you. I'm trying to talk to the ladies within here because they're the biggest people who have got the concern. So at the moment of this commander, I've got no I've got no crime that's coming out of any of my sites. So the point I'm making out is if we had huge problems, you would know about it. You would have seen it. You would have seen it in the paper.
Okay, now it's in the papers. Does that make it real? Police also threatened locals with hate crime charges for merely pointing out the migrants were all young men from certain countries.
The hate crimes, and if you like what's happening here, and whether it's in the law or not, this could be perceived as being a hate crime. Really, you know, where they come from is race. Okay, the fact that they're
nationality
and they're all males as well, and you're worried about the females. Again, that's you're discriminating against them because they're males.
Race and nationality are two different things.
But the hate crime, right?
Yeah.
Isn't just about race.
And if the people of Wethersfield haven't been put through enough already, the government just announced it will house another 220 migrants at the base, taking the total living there to 800, meaning the migrants will literally outnumber the native population. They're going to raise the number of people to 800, which is more than the population of the village, and we just can't cope with it.
We were told that the increase would not happen until the SDO was signed off properly. There are serious contamination issues on that site. And all of a sudden, we're being lied to, information is being held back, and they're now going to increase the numbers up to 800 without consultation with the residents.
And this base is costing taxpayers more than it would cost to put up the illegals in hotels. Once 800 migrants are housed there, it'll cost £130,000 a night. Or, wait for it, £47 million a year. And still the question remains unanswered. They're not refugees. We don't owe them anything. So why are these men even in our country? If you value what I do and you want to help support me, please visit pauljosephwatson.locals.com and either pledge a one-time donation or subscribe to join my community, get early access videos, and message me directly. And exclusive live streams coming soon too. Promise. Check out the Locals link down in the description. And don't forget to take a look at the brand new website, modernity.news. That's where you'll find all my content, including exclusive articles. That's modernity.news.